in a stroller. Can you imagine that? He's got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, yet allegedly this guy was sauced. So a citizen calls 911, ends up, this guy was so drunk he passed out. Now he's facing charges of public intoxication, child endangerment. He does say he was remorseful. He's not a negligent father, loves his kids, and made a stupid decision. But what should happen here? Vikki Ziegler's with us, family law attorney. Also back with us, Jen Berman, our psychotherapist. So, Vikki, what's the legal system going to do with this? You got a remorseful dad, but what he did, he admits, was stupid.
Oh, absolutely. He made a very big error here. You don't walk around with your children pushing a stroller on the street when you're intoxicated. He already admitted that he had several drinks beforehand, thought about taking his children out. 1 and 3, by the way, who can't protect themselves. And he has a duty of care not to endanger the health and the welfare of these children. I think certainly, number 1, he's going to have to pay some fines. Number 2, I think it's egregious enough to maybe get some jail time. Probably won't happen, but a very serious offense in my mind. What
does Child Protective Services do? I guess you'd have to look at a history to see if there's any other negligent behavior like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They'd be called in. They'd go to the house. They'd go to interview anybody that's in contact with the children, other family members that are living in the home, and potentially if the children are in daycare outside the home, they would also do that investigation. Certainly this gentleman needs help. He passed out, as you had mentioned earlier, and he also was taken to a hospital for treatment.
Jen Berman, what do you make of the mindset here? Now, he, as Vikki said, he's had several drinks. He wants to go get a money order, so he piles the 2 kids in a stroller and can barely make it down the street, and he ends up being passed out. What's the guy thinking?
Well, one of the things that concerned me the most was the quote that he had was, he said something to the extent of, I know that I shouldn't be going out when I'm this drunk. Well, no, it's not that you shouldn't be going out when you're this drunk. You should not be taking care of your children when you are so drunk that you are passing out. His children need a parent who can actually take care of him. So I hope that he gets whatever sentence will allow him to get sober, stay sober, and be able to take care of his children and use better judgment.
Okay, obviously he has an alcohol problem. How serious is it, you think, Jen, from what you see here?
Well, alcoholism is a progressive disease. So to get to the point where you're taking your 1- and 3-year-old out using such terrible judgment and passing out when the police pick you up, you're pretty far gone when you get to that point. So this man needs some help, and he desperately needs a 12-step program.
Vikki, what would it take to remove this dad from his kids? I mean, how far do you have to go here?
Yeah, they're going to have to do a huge investigation. That's family services. They could have to do a psychological evaluation on him, perhaps his wife, whoever else is living in the house, and make a determination as to whether or not he needs to be removed from the house on a temporary basis or full-time. And they'd go through some very strict psychological testing, and then have a judge review it. So certainly this is going to be hopefully a wake-up call, because he could have gotten into a car, perhaps killed himself, the children, and other people, and even pedestrians if he was walking with the children across the street. So, I mean, very serious. People that are watching this show need to really think about doing things like this before they do them, because this could have been catastrophic.
No, exactly. You don't get sauce when you're taking care of your kids, ages 1 and 3. Thankfully, they weren't hurt in all this. Jen, Vikki, guys, thanks so much. Coming up, a 19-year-old woman again safe with her family after a terrifying ordeal.